Alright, then good guys, how's it going? Welcome to the first episode of Spicy's Kitchen. This channel will be really focused on healthy recipes, showing you guys how to stay healthy while having fun while cooking. For the most part, I'll be cooking them, however, every now and then, I'll be having a special guest chef join us. So for today, for our very first episode, we have Lisa right here joining us.
Hey, thanks Spicy.
How are you today, Lisa?
I'm great, how are you?
Doing alright. Tell me, what are you going to be cooking for us today?
Yeah, we're gonna make a slow roasted salmon with a quick pickled veggie and a purple rice.
Purple rice?
Super easy. It's gonna look kind of complicated and it might sound complicated, especially if people are not really comfortable cooking, but I promise it's really, really easy. I've got some salmon fillets here. I also have some purple rice. We're gonna bump up the flavor of the purple rice by adding some vegetable stock and also throwing in some aromatics. Today we're gonna use ginger. You could really use whatever you have on hand that kind of mirrors the flavors of your dish. So mushrooms or fish sauce or some oyster sauce if you want like a umami flavor. We are going to marinate our salmon in some sesame oil, soy sauce, a little white wine, and some honey. And then we're gonna quick pickle our veggies. Here we have a red onion. We'll thinly slice that. And then an English cucumber, which we'll kind of slice into quartered shapes, with some sugar and some rice wine vinegar. We'll top it off with a little bit of toasted nori and some sesame seeds for a garnish.
That sounds pretty good.
It does. So we've got a little bit of white wine, which can be omitted for anyone that doesn't like to cook with wine or alcohol, totally fine. Some sesame oil, some soy sauce, and some honey for sweetness. Something else you can do is really cool about marinades is that you can really adapt them to the dish or what flavors you have and also what you have on hand.
What about like you're cooking on board? Were you self-taught? Did you go to culinary school?
Yeah, I actually went to culinary school. I went to Lake Cordon Bleu here in Chicago. I've kind of always loved to cook, so I've always been in the kitchen. I've got pictures when I was little of just standing on a stool so I could reach the counter and wearing this like little apron that my mom had to like roll up because it was too big for me. And this is just the honey to add a little bit of sweetness. I'm not going to add a ton just because I don't want a lot of extra sugars in here, but just enough. We're just going to stir this up and then we'll add the salmon fillets. So we're just going to coat these and then let them sit for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Alright.
Cool. Yeah, so this is just some thinly sliced red onion, quartered English cucumber. You can use a regular cucumber. I would just take the seeds out, otherwise it's going to get pretty watery. And then a half a cup of unseasoned rice wine vinegar and about a tablespoon of sugar. Prior to putting this all together, I sliced my onion and let it soak in cold water for about 10 minutes. That takes some of the bite that you can get sometimes, like a really strong red onion, out. So now we're just gonna take our salmon out of the marinade, stick it on the parchment paper, skin side down, presentation side up, and then it'll go into a preheated 250-degree oven for 8 to 12 minutes, kind of depending on how well done you like your salmon, and then also how hot your oven runs. So, when it comes to plating, you just want to keep it simple and highlight your main portion of the dish. The other thing when you're cooking, especially if people think of like healthy food as being bland or boring, it really doesn't have to be. So you notice from this, you've got a lot of different colors. We're going to use a bright white kohl, which is going to highlight the purple from the rice, the salmon, and then the different color of the pickled veggies. I also have some garnish. I've got a little bit of toasted nori or seaweed that I've cut up into strips. And then I've also got some toasted sesame seeds that I'll sprinkle on top. So really kind of creating a visual presentation and something that's really appealing to the eye that makes you want to dive in and forget that whatever you're eating might be healthy. So we'll start with the base, and that'll be the rice. This is finished cooking, and I fluffed it up with a fork and removed the ginger that I had peeled and cut in here. Now, again, that was my aromatics. You don't have to use it. You can. I'm going to be mindful of the portion size of this rice. Just kind of put it in the middle. And then I'm going to take my fish spatula, grab a piece of salmon, really delicate, and sit it on top. This will also allow some of the marinade that's still on the salmon that's been cooking to kind of drip into the rice and get some flavor. Next, I'll take the quick pickled veggies. These have been sitting, I would say, for probably about like 20-30 minutes. I'm gonna use a slotted spoon so I can drain off some of the water so it's not super watery. off to the side, but yet still a little bit on the rice. You just don't want to cover up the salmon. Also, any of the liquid from here could make things a little bit soggy. The other thing I'm going to do is top right on top with some of this nori. Another thing that's really good is to create height with your dish. So we're going to try to make a little pile there, and then finish with a sprinkling of sesame seeds. And you can also finish it with a little bit of the liquid from your pickled veggies or a little bit of sesame oil if you want. And there you go. Want to try it?
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, that is really good.
Oh, thanks.
That's really good. Alrighty, so that was fantastic. I really love the flavors coming out there. Also, thank you viewers for joining us today on our very first episode of Spicy's Kitchen. More episodes will be coming up in the coming weeks as well. Don't forget guys, this recipe will be posted as well. Highly recommend you guys try this out. Completely healthy. And so yeah, thank you very much for joining us for today. Catch you guys next week.